regarding that promises. Okay, the thing is like the promises in JavaScript. Okay, so basically we are using the promises because of the handling the asynchronous operations. Okay, the basically that promises in JavaScript is the object representing. Okay, like we can say that completion of the asynchronous operations, completion or failure. Okay, the like the thing is we can say the handling the asynchronous operations, synchronous operation. Okay, and basically it allows us to handle the asynchronous task like the API calling. Okay, the API calling and the database query, database query. Okay, and some timer. Okay, so that efficiently without blocking the execution of the other code. Okay, so basically the without blocking in the sense the asynchronous. Okay, the basically in the promise in the JavaScript is the object representing the completion or failure the, of the asynchronous operations, and basically it allows you to handle the asynchronous task called API calling, database query and timer. Okay, so like without blocking the execution of our code. Okay, so in the real life strategy, real life in the sense. Okay, so think you're ordering food at a restaurant. Okay, the first point I will say that like you can place an order means we can say that asynchronous operation starts. Okay, so you can place an order. Okay, so in this first step we can say that async operation starts. Okay, in the first step, and the second step. Okay, the restaurant gives you a token. Okay, so the uh, rest, yeah, restaurant gives you a token. Okay, so token means we can say it's a promise. The technical word we can say it's a promise means that restaurant will give the token. Okay, gives you the token that guarantee they will deliver the food. Okay, means that uh, guarantee guarantee they will deliver food soon. Okay, so in the second part, so the token and the token is the real scenario and the promise is the technical scenario, technical word. Okay, the third thing. Okay, third thing, while waiting you can do other tasks, like you can continue the execution. Okay, third time, while waiting you can do the other task also. So you can do other task. Okay, so we can say it's a continuous like continue execution, technical word, uh, continuous continue execution. Okay, and the fourth point we can say, so whenever your food is arrives. Okay, so you can enjoy the meal means here the promise is result. So what we did in the point number 2, so there is a restaurant, it gives you the token. Okay, that's guaranteed they will deliver deliver food soon. Okay, and the fourth point, when when your food arrives, when our food is arrives means like the successfully they have delivered our food. For here, we can say that the promise is the result. Promise is resolved. Okay, means you can enjoy your meal. Okay, suppose the line number 5, if uh, okay, suppose if you have some facing issue, like suppose the restaurant has some problem with their particular reasons, so they will not, like suppose they will not deliver your food, like your meal. So then we can say the promise is the rejected. For example, we can say if they run out from run out of the ingredient. Okay, ingredients. So here we can say that promise is failed, rejected. Promise is rejected. Okay, so they inform you and you handle the situation like that actually. Okay, the first thing you like the person will order place an order. Okay, so here we can see that async operation will start. Okay, and here in the second number, so the restaurant gives on token that guarantee they deliver the food. Okay, so in this thing, the token, we can say it's a technical word, the promise. Okay, so while waiting you can do other tasks. Okay, so in asynchronous operation, so suppose if promise is working from other work. Okay, so you have some other things, so you can work. Okay, so fourth point you can see, so when your food is arrived, mean they have delivered successfully. So here the technical word, we can say the promise is resolved. Okay, and suppose if they are not delivered your food, okay, we can say it's the promise is rejected. Okay, this is regarding the promise. Okay, basically the promise is an object representing, okay, completion or failure. Okay, completion is in the sense resolved, and failure in the sense is the rejected of the asynchronous operation. Okay, and promises, yeah, so there is one promises life cycle. Life cycle. Okay, life cycle in the sense there are the state of the states of a promises. Promises. Okay, state of the promise. Okay, so basically the promise can be have the three state actually. Okay, the first one, it's a pending. First one, it's a pending, and second thing is the fulfilled. Okay, and third thing is the rejected. Okay, so the pending in the sense, we can say the asynchronous operation is still in progress, neither completed nor rejected. Okay, so we can say that pending. Fulfill in the sense, we can say that operation is completed successfully. Okay, in this thing you can see the line number 3, like the point number 3, your operation is completed. Okay, and return the value. Return, like here in the fulfilled in the sense, the operation is operation completed successfully and return the value. Okay, and rejected in the sense the operation is failed, return the error message. Okay, so in this thing, so here yeah, so here that operation is successful. Okay, not here, here the operation is successful. Okay, the promise is resolved. Okay, so here the operation is failed. Okay, that the thing is promise is rejected, and they will give some error message. Okay, for example, we'll try one code for sorry, where it is, not this one, somewhere I can use this one only. Okay, so but first thing, suppose if like we have to use that promise, like there is a new keyword with the promise object. So promise, this is the object, we can say this is the promise. Okay, so inside the that parameter, so we have the resolve and the reject. Okay, resolve and reject. Okay, and here I will add some set timeout function. Okay, the set timeout function. Okay, so for example, I will create one variable as a success. I will make as a true. Okay, and so here I will add the condition if success, then we'll get the result. Okay, so successfully resolved, resolved. Okay, suppose if it is fail, then we need to call the reject. Okay, so we'll get like error. Okay, not found. We can set the error message as the not found. Okay, so then we can add the time for the set timeout. There is a 2 second. Okay, I will store the entire promises in the separate variable. There is the const and the my promise is equal to, yeah. So then I will call this one console dot call and the my promise. Okay, I will run this code. Oh, why it's a pending? So here set timeout we have called promises. Okay, so this is a promise, resolve reject, and then okay, so it should work. What happened here? Somewhere one minute. Yeah, the thing is like the initially it's a pending state only. Okay, for getting suppose if you want to that resolve state, then we have to do some we need to handle some promises. Okay, so I will explain this code first one more time. Okay, so here we are creating the promise. While creating the promise, we have to use that new promise. Okay, and resolve and reject. Okay, the main thing, there is a new promise. It's a create the new promise. Okay, and it takes the callback function as the 2 arguments. One it's the resolve and one is the reject. Resolve in the sense it call call this when the operation is successfully. Okay, and reject in the sense call this when operation is fails. Okay, in here line number 2, here we are simulating that asynchronous task with a set timeout. Okay, and the set timeout the simulate a delay of the 2 second. before executing the inner logic. Okay, so here we are adding some conditions like the conditional logics for the success and failure. So here success is a boolean flag in the sense we have added the true. Okay, and that decided whether the promise will resolve or reject. This line number 3. Okay, so if the success is true, the resolve the promise, resolve the promise. Suppose success is false, the reject the promise. Okay, so in this thing here we are using that resolve and reject the promise. So basically if the success is true, okay, we call the resolve, we can call the resolve. Okay, so here, okay, this changes the state of the promise from the pending to fulfilled. Suppose if the resolve state is called, right now it's a pending, neither successfully nor rejected, because of we have to handle the promises. Okay, so suppose if the success is true, then we call the resolve. Suppose if the success is false, so then we have to call the reject. Okay, in the resolve the changes state from the promise from the pending to fulfilled, and the reject here changing the state from the pending to rejected. Okay, so right now that initially promise state is a pending. So when my promise is created, this my promise is created, it's in the pending state. Since that set timeout runs after 2 seconds, result 2 seconds, and the promise does not resolve or reject, resolve and reject immediately. Okay, so for that thing we have to handling the promises using the dot then dot cache dot finally. So here we need to handle the promises. I have to use one more thing. So we have the created the promises, but we have to handle those promises using handling the promises. Okay, for that thing we have to use the dot then method. Okay, and dot cache method, and that is the final thing, there is a dot finally method. Okay, so basically to handle the resolve reject state, okay, of the promises, we have to use the dot then dot catch and dot finally. Okay, the dot then process basically runs if the promise is fulfilled. Okay, this will run if the promise is fulfilled, like fulfilled, otherwise resolved. Otherwise you can say it's a resolved. Okay, so here suppose if the promise is if the promise is rejected, so if it for the catch we can say if the promise is rejected, okay, the promise is rejected, then we have to use the catch. The finally basically the we can say this runs whether promise is resolved or reject. Okay, it's optional, we can say. Okay, this runs whether the promise was resolved or rejected. Okay, so now we can handle the promises. Okay, so there is a for handling the promises we have to use that variable called my promises and dot then dot then. Okay, dot then, and here I will use the callback, there is the result, and here I will console console.log. okay, the result. Okay, so same thing we have to do for the catch. Catch, okay, catch error. Okay, here I will do that console dot error, we can set the error. Okay, so now we can run the code, will get successfully. Okay, so right now actually here that that promises is resolved, means successfully resolved we have. Okay, so finally like we can use finally also here, the finally. So finally we'll run for rejected and fulfilled also, both. Okay, for 1 minute there is the console dot log. Okay, we can say operation completed. Okay, so we'll run this thing. Yeah, so here, yeah, now like the promise is resolved. Okay, now we can see the rejected. Okay, I will make that success is equal to false, then you will get the error kind of things. Okay, yeah, so you can see we will get the error. So here that promises is rejected. Okay, so this is regarding that promises. Okay, so we have we have that chaining promises actually. Okay, the next thing, so chaining promises means we can say sequential execution. Okay, suppose if we need to execute multiple asynchronous tasks one after another, we need to use that promise chaining. Okay, this is, suppose if we need to execute the multiple asynchronous tasks then one after another, so then we have to use the promise chaining. For example, yeah, for example I'll create here. So there is the yeah, here I'll create, there is a new promises and resolve. I'll reject this thing, like I'll remove that thing, and I'll make uh, okay, resolve 10 resolve at 10 10. Okay, okay, so here I will handle the multiple things. Dot then dot num is equal to console dot log console dot log. Okay, that is a num. So otherwise we can do one more thing. And I will return something here. I will return the num into a 2. Okay, the same thing I will do for one more dot then process. Okay, here I will do one thing. I will come into 3. Okay, and here I will do dot num. Okay, I will console here, and last thing we will do the catch method. Okay, the catch method, here I will add that error, and here I will remove. Okay, 1 minute. Somewhere I have to run the code. Log. Okay, I don't need to use this one. Okay, so we got the output one after the another. Okay, so here we have handling the multiple asynchronous tasks. Okay, so in this thing you can see there is a here we have created the promise. Okay, there is a new promise and result, and the set timeout we have added that result 10. Okay, so here we have created the new promises using the new promise. Okay, and after that it resolve with the 10 after 1 second. Okay, after 2 seconds. Okay, and basically here that the state of the promises goes from the pending to fulfilled. Okay, after 1 second. Okay, and the second step we can see there is a first dot then process, this one. Okay, so in this thing it received the 10. Okay, it received the 10. The first step it received the 10, the resolved value from the promises. Okay, and here the logs the 10 actually, the the console number 1, here the logs the 10. Okay, and it returned the 10 into 2 20. Okay, right now our promise value is the resolve value is the 20 here. Okay, after the first then. Okay, for the second then like it received the 20. Okay, so here we have that converted the 10 into the 20. Okay, 10 into 20, 20 to 20. Okay, the same thing here we can do. We here we are receiving the 20, resolve is the 20. Okay, so from the that previous dot then we are getting the 20. Okay, so here in this console we are getting the console as a 20. Okay, and here we are doing the 20 into 3 means 60. Okay, basically that dot then process 2, it will return the 60. Okay, so now we can see the third dot then process. Okay, the third dot then process, it will receive that 60. Okay, 60 from the previous dot then process from the here. Okay, here that does not return anything. So yeah, and here the catch method. Okay, so for the error handling. Okay, if any error occurs in any of the dot then blocks, so then dot catch will be run, dot catch will be the called. Okay, since there is no errors. Okay, the catch is not executed. Okay, and finally we have the output called 10, 20 and 60. Okay, the basically how the promise chaining works, in the sense the first step, the promise resolve with a 10 after 1 second. Okay, here, and that first dot then here in this thing you can see the promises resolved with the 10 after 2 seconds actually. Okay, and in first then will receive the 10, logs it, return 10 into 20, and again in the second dot then process, so it will receive the 20, logs it and return 20 into 360. Okay, and the in this dot then it will receive the 60 and log it, and on the catch method there is no error, the catch will not execute. So this is regarding, we can say it's a promise chaining. So we can handle multiple asynchronous operations. Okay, so the next thing we can see regarding handling the multiple multiple promises together. Sorry, together. What we have seen in the promise chaining, chaining promise actually. So here like we need to execute the multiple asynchronous tasks one after another, but in the handling the multiple promises together means, so here sometimes we need to run the multiple asynchronous tasks simultaneously. So here we can say one after one, one after another, and here in this thing we need to run the multiple asynchronous tasks simultaneously and wait for them to the complete, we can say. For that thing, so we have to use here the Promise.all. So here we have to use that Promise.all. Okay, so here the wait this all basically, here wait the all the promise to resolve, then it return an array of the result. If any promise is rejected, then it fails immediately. Okay, for example, I will create here. So the first thing I will create, first const promise 1. Okay, there is a promise 1. I will create the uh, promise. Okay, I'll make the resolve, and I will add set timeout, set timeout, set timeout. I will resolve, and I'll add pizza. Okay, pizza after 2 seconds. After 2 seconds. Okay, the same thing for the P2 promise 2. So there is set timeout. I need a burger after the 1 second. Okay, same for the promise 3. Okay, so I will do one thing, instead of result I will do reject. Okay, the reject. So there is a no pasta. So I will do the timing is 1.5 seconds. Okay, so to handling the all the promises, we have to use that Promise.all. Okay, there is a Promise.all. Okay, here we have to use the array P1, P2 and P3. Okay, so then we can use the only one dot then, sorry, 1 minute. Yeah, dot then results. Okay, console.log food received. Okay, the same thing for the catch. So in the catch we can add the error. Okay, so here I'll add the console.error. I will add that error. Okay, so now I will run this code to throw the error. What is happening? Reject is not defined. means, oh, somewhere I wrote wrong thing. Yeah, so we have to add the reject also. Yeah, the errors, no, like there is no pasta. Okay. 1 minute. Yeah, so basically so here we have used the Promise.all. Okay, the first step. Okay, here we have created the three promises: promise 1, promise 2, and promise 3. Okay, the promise 1, okay, there is resolve in the 2 second. Okay, you're getting the like pizza. And promise 2, there is a burger, we resolve in the 1 second. Okay, and the third thing, so here promise 3, yeah, promise 3, actually there is a rejected. Okay, and we are getting the no pasta. Okay, so here in the line number 5 we are using that Promise.all. Okay, in the array we are using the all the promises. Okay, wait for the all the promises to complete. Okay, if the all the promises is resolved, if the all the promises is resolved, it return the array of resolved value. Suppose if any promises rejects, here in the out of 3 promises there is a 1 promise is rejected, means if any promise is rejected, the entire Promise.all immediately rejects with that error. So in out of 3, so 2 2 promises have the resolved state, but one it's a reject state. So we are checking the Promise.all. It will take all the promises and will check what are the promises are resolved and what are the promises are rejected. Okay, so execution flow basically here, so there is a after 1 second, so when I click on the button, after 1 second the like this will run actually the P2, because of this we have the only 10 we have the only 1 second. Okay, so after the 1.5 second, so that P3 this one P3 will P3 will run. Okay, so here the that promise is rejected, means it will throw the error. Okay, so immediately stop the execution, since the Promise.all fails if the even one promise is rejects. So the P1 is ignored here, because of the P3 is P3 is rejected. So P3 is a 1.5 second and P1 is a 2 second. Okay, yeah, suppose there is a one question, so what if all resolved? Okay, we'll try for that thing. Okay, so I will do now I will make this one as a result, uh, result. Okay, I will add the pasta. Okay, I will add the pasta and I will run the code. What is happening here? Resolve is the, oh, spelling is wrong. Okay, so all the promises are all the promises got resolved. So the finally we will get the one one message called food received. Okay, suppose all the P1, P2, P3 are resolved, so we will get confirmation from the .then process that consoling the food received. So suppose if it is the any one promise are failed, means rejected, so then you will get the error. Okay, so this is regarding that promise dot all. Okay, there is one more thing actually regarding uh, yeah. Mm, the promise dot, there is a, I will 1 minute, promise dot all and promise dot all settled. Okay, so unlike the promise dot all, which fails the immediately if the even one promise is reject. Okay, and there is a promise all settled. Basically here wait for the all promise to complete, whether they are resolve or reject. Okay, so I'll use that all settled here. Yes, this, yeah, all settled. Okay, so here the promise dot all settled, it takes as an array of a promise. So basically that all settled, it will take the an array of the promises and wait for the all of them to settle, either fulfilled or rejected. Okay, instead of failing on the first rejection, it will return the array of object with the status fulfilled or rejected, and the value for the and the value. Otherwise we can say there is a error reason. So in the all settled the execution flow basically, so after 1 second, the like after 1 second the burger like p2 will call and it resolved. After 1.5 second, like 1.5 second, the p3 will call and it rejects. So right now I have to read make the reject. Okay, and after 2 seconds the p1 will call and like the result. Okay, so we'll see what happened using the all settled. Okay, so here using the all settled, we are getting the food received. So here the each promise is represented in the array. Okay, so resolved one have the status fulfilled and the value, and rejected one have the status as rejected. So basically the difference between promise.all and promise.settle. So the promise.all, we can say it fails immediately if any promise is rejected. But in the promise.settle, it will wait for all the promises to settle. Okay, the promise.all, we can say it return the array of the resolved value, but in the all settle, it return the array of the objects. Okay, and in the promise.all, we can say when the all promises must succeed. But in the all settle, so when you need to handle the both success or failure. Okay, so these are the difference between the promise.all and promise.settled. The best use case for the promise.all, so when the all the promises are must succeed. For example, fetching the multiple ABI responses that are all required. So then you can use the promise.all. For the promise.all settled, so when you want to process the all the results, even if some fails. For example, loading the multiple assets where some might fail, we can. Okay, so this is regarding, we can set the promise.all settled. Okay, there is one more thing. The name is promise.race. Okay, there is a promise dot race. Okay, so basically the promise.race, basically it returns the first promises that resolve or rejected. The first promises that resolve or rejected. For example, so here there is a three promises, like three promises. Okay, I'll use, instead of all settle, I'll use the promise.race. Okay, so here I will do one thing. So you will get the only one output. The output in the sense like 1 minute. Yeah, so here I will write this result. Okay, so here what is the definition? Basically the promise.race, it return the first promises that resolve or rejected. What is our first promises which will resolve? The p2, it's a result, and p2 is resolved, and like the output will be the burger. Okay, we'll see. Yeah, food received, burger. Okay, promise.race in the sense it return the first promises that resolved or rejected. Okay, I will change the timing to the 1700 millisecond. Okay, now you can see we'll get some error because of the first promises that here the return the first promises that are rejected. Okay, so right now we'll make that 1000 millisecond. Okay, yeah, so basically this promise.race, okay, methods wait for the first promises to settle, okay, resolve or reject, and it return the result immediately and ignore the rest of the things promises. It will take the only one promises. Okay, in this thing, the whichever the promise is settled, either resolved or rejected, the first determine the outcomes, we can say. The other promises are ignored after first one settled. So here the flow we can say, so after 1 second the p2 will call and will get the burger. Okay, so promise.race the immediately resolve with the burger. Okay, and ignoring the p1 and p3, the final output will get the food received, a burger. Okay, so this is regarding, we can say it's a promise.race. Okay, so the next thing, there is one more thing, Promise.any. Okay, Promise.any, 1 minute. Here I will write Promise.any. Okay, so basically that Promise.any, okay, so basically it returns the first fulfilled promise, the first fulfilled promise. If all promises are if all fails, it returns the error, but it will return the first fulfilled promises. For example, I will do here, instead of race I will use the any. Okay, here also you will get the same output as the burger. Okay, so unlike that promise.race, which is written the first settled promise, whether resolve or reject, in the promise.any it ignore the rejections. Okay, it will wait for the first successful promise. So I will make this p2 as the 1800 millisecond. I will check. Okay, it like it's taking the first resolve promise. Okay, it should give that of 1000 like this p3 because of the 1500 millisecond, but it's not returning the error because what, it's ignoring the errors, reject parts. Basically, the promise.any, it ignores the rejections and wait for the first successful promises. So first successful promises is the P2. Okay, so in this thing, yeah, so promise.any, so if any promises are resolved, the promise.any immediately return the first resolved value. If all the promises are rejected, then it returns an error. Okay, in this flow, so there is a p2. 1 minute, I'll make this 1000. I'll run, I'll go get the code. Yeah, so the p2, we can say it's a result. The promise.any, it's immediately return the burger, and p1 and p3 is p1 and p3 are the ignored. Okay, and the final output will get that food received burger. There is one question. Okay, what if all promises are rejects? Okay, we'll do one thing here. So I will add the all promises rejects. Yeah, so you'll get the error like this. Suppose all the promise are rejected, so then we'll like suppose the promise.any, it wait for all, and it rejects only if the everything is failed. Okay, and the error is and the aggregate error, which contains all rejection reasons. Okay, means the all promises were rejected. Okay, yeah, so these are the things we can say that promises APIs, we can say. Okay, so suppose in upcoming, suppose like if you are trying to code as a organization in the organization, otherwise you can try the code, you will get some more complex things. Okay, so there is one more thing called async and await will come in this picture. Okay, so we can say that async and await is a modern approach. Okay, that async and that await, we can say it's a modern approach. Modern approach. Okay, the basically in the using the dot then for the multiple promises can code the hard to read. Okay, for that thing we can use that async and await to make it cleaner compared to the promises. You can see in the promises, so after creating the promises, we have to handling those promises using the dot then and dot cache process, dot then and dot cache methods. Okay, the thing is like the function handles the promises using the async and await along with the error handling and the finally block. Okay, we'll do code for the 1 minute async await. I will do the code. There is the there is a function, the name is the fetch data, fetch data, I'll make as empty. Okay, so for the error handling purpose, we can use the try and catch method. So in promises you can see there is a dot then and dot catch method, but here we have to use the try and catch blocks. Okay, try. Okay, let I'll create the thing is let the response, sorry, that is the response is equal to the await. Okay, the thing is like for the code purpose, the async and await, we have to add the async before the function. Okay, so then we can use the await in this thing. Okay, so here okay, so 1 minute. Okay, just I'll like try to create the normal example. Okay, we'll do later regarding that fetching APIs. Okay, so just I'm writing the syntaxes. There is a my promises. Okay, I haven't created, but just I'm writing the things. Okay, so we'll get the data from this my promises. For example, I'm added the hard coded. Okay, so here I will the console dot log. Okay, I will make as a success. Okay, so I will get, I'll add the response here. Okay, for the catch there is a error. Okay, there is a error. The console dot log, here I will add the error instead of log. Okay, I'll make it as the error. Here also I'll make it as error. Okay, and I'll use that finally a block. There is the console.log, console.log. Okay, we can say there is an operation completed. Okay, so here yeah, in this thing the function wait, this function the wait for the my promises to settle. Okay, and if the my promises as the result is stored in the response. Okay, suppose if my promises is resolved, okay, resolved, the result is stored in the response in this thing. Okay, so then we can see the log that success with the response. If the my promises is rejected, the catch block will run and logs the run and logs, and it will get the error. Okay, and the finally block, it always run either success or failure. For example, this is the syntax for the async and await. Async we can add before the function. Okay, and while we are getting some wait for the my promise is settled, so we can use that await here. Okay, so we will do one scenario. Okay, there is a const and my promise is equal to no promise there is a new promise, resolve and reject. Okay, so here I will add the set time mode function. Okay, here I will create the success is a true. Okay, suppose if the success is true, so then we can make it as a result. Okay, data fetched, we can say success. Okay, if it is the false, the else block, we can make it as the reject. Okay, there is a add error, and here I will add the 2000. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I have to use, so here the sync, let's see, finally what is the error, finally compilation is removed. Okay, what is, I have to call that function here, fetch data. Okay, so once the fetch data is called, my promises is not defined, but here I have defined, but some spelling change, I think, spelling mistake. Okay, so I will do one thing. Okay, yeah, so this is our, just you can imagine this, like this is the just API. Okay, so we are calling API here. Okay, using the async and await. Okay, so here the function fetch data is called. Okay, then that await will the await promise will wait for the 2 second. If it is success, it will return the success. Otherwise, if it is false, then it will return that error. Okay, so we can do a real-time example. Real-time example in the sense, suppose in the you can see where it is. Yeah, I will do one thing. Okay, so I will erase the thing. Okay, so there is a API. Okay, API in the sense I will explain you later what is the API. Just I will take one link from the Google. There is a JSON placeholder TP code. I'll use the, these are the fake APIs we have to use. Okay, so these are the users I will use, this one. Okay, so these are the API. Okay, I will copy the link. Okay, I'll try here. I have to fetch, I have to render the name, email and username. Okay, through this API and using the asynchronous operations, and using the async and await. Okay, so there is the link. Okay, I have to use this link actually. Before that, I have to create the async for that thing. There is the async. Okay, I'll create the function the fetch a user, okay, the try. In the try I'll get the response, okay, is equal to await. I will fetch there's a fetch methods I have to use. Inside that thing we have to add this link. Okay, in the so this link we like in the real time scenario, this link we will get from the backend. So backend guys will create the API. Okay, that API we have to use in the to fetching the data. So inside this API, so we have so many things. Right now they have created the dummy API, and using this API we have to render these all the fields. Okay, so I have fetched. Okay, I have to get the response. Okay, let the data. Okay, wait, wait. So there is a response. So we need to make it the JSON format. Okay, so now the same thing I will console here, console.log. I'll use that user data. Okay, so in this thing I will use that data. The same thing I will use the table if it is possible. I think it will work or not. Okay, so I have to use that catch method here, or the catch. So we have to add the error also. There is the error. Okay, but console.log error. Okay, error. Okay, yeah. So now I will call this method here, like the function I will call. Okay, we'll see what will get in the output. Data. What is the error? Fetch failed. The process is protecting rejections. The task queued. Async fetch user. Okay, error. Let it try again. JSON placeholder typical. Is it wrong or right? 1 minute. Where it is? What I have used? These are the things. JSON dot type code and the user. Okay, data dot. I'll use the data dot a name. Data dot name. So here also I'll use the name. Let's see how it will get. What is happening here? Oh, good. We'll use one more thing here. One data. I'll remove this thing. Okay, we'll run. Some type error. Fetch response. Fetch the word. Let data is equal to await response data console.log. Okay, 1 minute. Here also we are getting the error. Okay, we'll do one thing. I will copy this one. I will create in the VS Code. Okay, so here I will do, okay, save, okay, the inspect, server respond with the status. Okay, so here we are getting the output actually. Okay, now where is the data dot table? Oh, why it's not? Okay, 1 minute. I will remove this one. Okay, I'll use the data dot name. Okay, so now I will run. Oh, it's undefined. Wait a minute. Okay, so what we are getting here, data, yeah, so using that, yeah, it is, so using that API, so we are getting the data. Okay, so we are getting the data number 1. Okay, for example, I will show you the things. So there is a name, Lane Graham, and username is Brett. Okay, in console also you can see there is a name, and there is a name that Lane Graham and Brett. So we are getting the only one data. Suppose if you want to do in the like in the dynamic level in the JavaScript. Okay, right now I'm showing the one example while doing the project. So we'll iterate the entire that real-time APIs. Okay, so we'll iterate all the things. Right now I'm showing that async and await how it's working with the API. Okay, so this is the API which like there is a fake APIs. Okay, so basically in the real time scenario it like these are the come from the backend thing. Okay, yeah, so basically, and we are getting the response that particular API after fetching the API. So fetching is the method which is separate we have to use. Okay, so after fetching the API, so we will get that response. It converts the JSON, so we'll get the data, like will the data from the response. Okay, we'll see in the output in the thing in the console. So these are the things we can see that promises and the async and await. Okay, and there is one more thing. There is a difference between the callback and versus the promises. Okay, so before promises, callback were used for the async tasks. Okay, but and leading to that callback hell, which I yesterday to which I explained you regarding the callback hell in the sense. So there is a function. Inside the another function there is a one more function. Inside the another function there is one more function. So for that thing we can say it's a callback hell. So instead of that thing we can write a cleaner and better syntax using the promises. Okay, we'll write here, suppose for example, so there is a one API, there is a get user. Okay, so inside that thing there is a user, sorry, there is user. Inside the get user there is a one more thing, there is a get order, get orders, get orders. Here we will get the user dot id and user dot id, and here there is a orders. Okay, so here we have one more function. Okay, get order details means here we'll get the orders dot 0 comma and we'll get the details here, details. Okay, so here we will console dot log, we can make it the details. Okay, so this is the thing we can say it's a callback hell, means we have created the function inside the another function. Okay, it's a it's a harmful our application, like harmful in the sense the application will be the slow. Okay, so for the better approach, so we have used the promises like get user. Okay, so get user we can use dot then user and get order. Okay, the same thing we can use the multiple things, get order, get details, get get details like that. So this is a very simpler compared to the these things callback hell. So this is a difference between the callback hell and the promises. Okay, callback hell in the sense we can create function inside the another function like that. It's a more hectic, and so this promises it's a more readable and it's a more we can say concise way to write the code. Okay, so the thing is like the what are the things we have seen today. So there is a promises, basically the promises the handle the asynchronous operations without blocking the execution. Okay, and we have used and there is a things the API calling, database query and timer. So we have seen API calling in this thing actually, you can see. So this is the thing we can say it's a API calling. So this is the API and this is we are calling using that promise in the next level of basically the async await is the next level of the promise like promises. Okay, the promises we are using the dot then and dot catch. In here we are writing the more concise way using the async and await, and here we are trying to handling the errors using the try and catch methods. Okay, so in this thing, so there is the promises the handling the asynchronous operation using the without the without the blocking the execution. Okay, and here we have used the handling the promises, we have used that dot then and to for the success and dot catch for the errors, and the finally for always execute code. Okay, and we have some we have seen some things actually here. So that Promise.all and Promise.all settled, Promise.any, Promise.race. Okay, so basically it helps to multiple async tasks. Okay, so after that we have seen regarding that async and await. Okay, so basically that async and await is a more like it's provide the cleaner and more readable code and more concise way to write the code also. Okay, and after that we have seen the difference between the callback and promises, so it look. So interview will ask, so why what is the difference between the callback and promises? And suppose they will ask, so can you create one promises? Okay, so like you can you can create using the promises called using that new dot new promises, and you can add that callback the resolve and reject. You can returning you can use that resolve and reject, and they will ask like so how can like how will you guys handle the handle the promises actually. So then you can tell them like we have the three things, there is a one more, there is a one thing, it's a dot then like for the fulfill the promises, and a dot catch for the rejected promises, and finally we can say that the dot then and dot catch it will call only. Okay, and these are the things, the chaining promises. Okay, means chaining promises, promise in the sense we can say sequential execution. Okay, so these are the things for the today's things. So do you have any doubt till now regarding the promises, Kaustubh?
Yes.
Kaustubh, so did you solve those problems which I sent in the group, in the doc, Priyanka?
Yes, sir, solving.
Yeah, like there are the 50 questions actually. Out of 50, how much I have covered? I'm audible?
Sir, I started to learn.
Okay, okay, not audible. You can continue and we'll see tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sir.